Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here again. Quick video blog. And I just want to say that for all you Yang supporters out there, I told you so. I told you so. And I'm not making this video because I like saying I told you so. I'm making this video because I need people who are watching this and who are Yang supporters and who support, people like Bernie Sanders and people on the Democrat side and so forth. I want you guys to understand how naive you are. And the reason why I want you guys to internalize that is because I know what's going to happen on this. You're going to come to my video, all right? And you're going to give me thumbs down. And after giving that, form of digital self-stroking to yourself, that form of, satisfaction to yourself, ooh, I thumbs down a video. The reality is that there was something wrong with your thought process if you thought Andrew Yang was going to become president. There's something wrong with your thought process, okay? You have to acknowledge that. If you don't want to acknowledge that, then it's okay. Then just admit that you're ignorant, okay? There's something wrong with your thought process and the way that you see the world and the way that you see politics if you thought that Andrew Yang had a shot in hell of becoming president, okay? Because as of yesterday, he couldn't even make it to the debate stage, okay? Now, earlier on, when I mentioned that Andrew Yang would get Ron Pauled, a lot of you did not understand what I was saying. But if you go back to 2012, when Ron Paul was highly supported and he got bum rushed and he got, just removed and got media blacked out, he got a media blackout surrounding him, that's what I meant. The same exact thing has happened on the Democrat side to Andrew Yang. The same thing happened when Bernie Sanders was polling high and Hillary Clinton, the establishment just completely screwed him. Remember that? Okay, so there's something wrong with your thought process if you think that your support is enough to propel somebody like Andrew Yang to president. You have to understand how this system works, and you don't. Okay, that's where you guys have it wrong. You guys think that all of us Trump supporters are some naive cult hive mind like people who just, follow Trump because you think we idolize his money. You think some of us are racist. You think some of us are stupid. You think whatever. But honestly, for people like me who are well read and well researched, I know that it's going to be very difficult for anybody to get into that position of power as president without money, power, and influence, which is exactly what Trump has. And so that alone should narrow down your choices right then and there. That alone should help you eliminate people who cannot make it or who would not be realistic choices. Okay, that alone should help you narrow down your decisions. The fact that Tom Steyer, the billionaire, Tom Steyer, who's not even really polling that well, was on stage and Andrew Yang was not, is a testament to what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not some pessimist who sees the world as a dark place. I see the world for what it is. I'm actually an optimist. I actually believe that people can achieve anything, but I think that you have to be cognizant of the fact that it takes money and power to achieve certain things. You cannot just rise to the top of politics today and become president simply on the support of people. You can't, okay? There are systems that have been in place for years that you have to have the power, the knowledge, the network, the resources to penetrate, period. And if you don't think this way, then you're not thinking like an adult. You're thinking like a child. And you need to check yourself in that regard. There's a lot of people who, because they're so blind and because they're salivating over receiving $1,000 a month, they weren't even willing to hear what I was trying to say, which is number one. The first thing I was trying to say was that I didn't really agree with the plan. I didn't think the plan was feasible. But the second thing I was trying to say is that I don't even think he's going to be anywhere near the president. I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to that. And it's not even... We're not even that close, and he can't even make it to the debate stage already. He hasn't formally ended his campaign, but he's not even able to get onto the debate stage. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? This system is not simply about who has the best sounding ideas to you. I know that in your mind and in my mind and in most people's mind, that's what it should be about, but that's not what it's about. You need to be able to separate what you want things to be from how they really are so you can understand how to get to where you want to be at. You can't be looking at the world in a matter of shoulds, especially if you have no power and you have no resources. You don't have the luxury to look at the life the way that you think it should be because you don't have any. And you know, the problem with a lot of people is that they don't have that power in real life. So they try to kind of vicariously exude that power through Twitter or through YouTube comments or through Facebook comments or through, or through their vote. They don't understand that they're not really that powerful. The ways that you're trying to exude power are not really that powerful. Okay? Unless you build up influence, unless you build up capital, money, unless you build up some kind of resources, your voice really doesn't count that much. That's just reality. And I'm acknowledging that as a Trump supporter. But I knew that in supporting Trump, that he has resources himself, that he doesn't just, yeah, sure, collectively, support for him mattered. But it's more important that he was able, through the use of his resources, through the use of his power and influence, that he was able to do more with that collective support. Whereas there are some candidates out there who can have a huge collective support, Andrew Yang, Ron Paul of the past, other people who can have, even Herman Cain, they can have a huge collective support and still fail. I've seen this in the past. It's happening right now. And the point is that if you were arguing if you were arguing with me on the past few videos about what I was saying about Andrew Yang, and you're watching this video, you need to understand that you had an error in the way that you thought, period. You were not thinking like a mature adult. You were thinking like a child who is mad because I'm telling you that Santa Claus is not coming. I'm telling you that the Tooth Fairy is not coming. I'm telling you that you're not going to get free candy. And you got upset with me. You got upset with me because you didn't like my message. So you tried to shoot the messenger. Now, the message is still here. Whether you want to accept it or not, the message is still here. Your guy has no shot in hell. He's already lost. He can't even make it to the debate stage. I was telling people I'm going to wait like a year to tell them and to show them. I don't even have to wait a year. That's how bad it is. That's how disconnected some of you guys are from reality. And I'm not making this video to insult you. I'm making this video because the further you are away from reality, the less ability you have to change your circumstances. And I felt like the disconnect from reality was reflected in your support for Andrew Yang. That's what you guys are talking about robots doing work for you and being handed $1,000. Is your situation in life that bleak? I mean, I was broke at one point. I would say about 12, 13 years ago, I didn't have money. I was broke. I never once gave into the luxury of thinking that some presidential candidate was going to save me and provide me with robots and send me $1,000 a month, because I knew inherently that it was a pipe dream. Even when I was 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I was 24. Even in 2008 when I was like 22 years old, I just didn't let these things sink in because I knew they were bullshit. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys that are watching this. Like, if you're going to vote in politics, or you're going to read politics and you're going to comment on politics, comment on it at least from a realistic perspective of what goes on in the real world. Because, maybe some of you can't relate to power games and to financial games and money games and all those things, but these things are real. These things are real. When you go out and you support a candidate that can't win, and then you get disappointed, you start cursing everybody out, you have yourself to blame for that cognitive dissonance. You have yourself to blame for that anger because you were naive and you were ignorant about the reality around you. You guys need to look at the world around you and figure out what world we're living in. We're living in a world where it doesn't matter if your ideas are good. If you don't have the resources, the power, the know-how to be able to execute them. That's the world we live in. Okay? Andrew Yang has great ideas. Okay? I may disagree with some of the ideas, but it doesn't, his ideas are still great. They're still good ideas. They're backed by a lot of good people, but he doesn't have the ability to execute them. So the messenger and the person executing it's so funny because if it were Trump who held Andrew Yang's ideas, it would get done. And that's what I'm trying to say. You may not like Donald Trump. You may love Andrew Yang. You may love his docile personality. But at the end of the day, his personality is not what gets things done. Not at this level, at least. Not at this level. You need a guy like Donald Trump who just, rams through the front door and gets things done. And that's what he does. And that's why he's there. That's why he's there. That's why Andrew Yang will never be there. And that's why Trump is probably going to win 2020. That's why he's going to win. Because of that alone. It's not just about ideas. It's about who has the power and ability to execute them. That's all I got to say. Peace.